Welcome to LAX, where today we're going to be taking Delta One to New York's JFK. This is one of two domestic routes out of LAX that is fully Delta One, the other being Boston. This is one of just 3 Delta One lounges across the country, with the other 2 being at JFK and Boston, with one opening later this year in Seattle, and there aren't plans for one in Atlanta or Detroit. Boarding for my flight was scheduled to begin at 5, so I was planning on getting to the lounge a little early until I realized it opened at 4:15. Why this time? I don't know. If anybody know in the comments, please enlighten me. But as you can see, there's private check-ins, a little snack bar, and the piece de resistance, the private security. Pretty cool. And after breezing through security, here I am walking over to the elevators that takes me up to the Delta One lounge itself. And I must say, this felt very exclusive. I mean, I was the second person through security, but it still felt very exclusive, like I was about to board a private jet. So here it is, my first glimpse of the lounge itself. And I was just taking it in at this moment. I was literally the first passenger of the day in the lounge, so I was just getting the rundown of all the amenities the lounge had to offer. It has showers, massage chairs, a bar, it has food, of course, and I was shocked to learn that it opened in October of 2024. It still looked very nice. So of course I made a beeline for the massage chairs, and since I was numero uno in the lounge, I didn't have a wait, so I immediately got me a massage, and let me tell you, that junk was firm. It was pretty firm. I got the lightest setting and it still beat me up a good bit. And here's the outdoor patio with views over the apron with that 767-300 right there. I actually flew one of those home from JFK, and maybe we'll get into that later. But yeah, and also here's the snack bar. I ended up not getting any snacks. I regret that because man, these pastries look good. And after my initial walk around, I got situated for some breakfast. I didn't really want to get anything too heavy, so here's the menu. It had a great selection of drinks, a few breakfast options, and I went for the veggie sausage and the yogurt and granola bowl. So after absolutely demolishing that breakfast, I made a beeline for the restroom. And I wasn't expecting it to be this nice, but man, it exceeded expectations. You see the marble finishes, like, yeah, it was nice. And once again, I'm not sure if this is because I'm the first, this is the first thing in the morning, but everything was so nice, so clean. Maybe I have to take another flight and see what it looks like in the evening, but at least in the morning, bright and early, this junk is absolutely immaculate. This is pretty nice. I am proud to admit that I am one of those tryhards that stands around and waits for my zone to be called and rushes aboard the aircraft. And as you can see here, I'm damn near running onto that jet bridge. And so, every time I step onto the jet bridge, I just take gratitude for where I've been and where I'm going. And I just think about where I want to be in life. And so, always be thankful for where you are and work hard to get to where you want to be, which is something I'm still doing myself. And something that struck me, dang, this is a long jet bridge, man. So yeah, every time I'm on here, I'm just anxious to see the aircraft, to see my seat. And so as we get closer and closer, my excitement just builds. And yeah, I have a pre-flight ritual where I take a picture of the aircraft, even if you can't see it right here. Like, I couldn't see jack, but hey, I still did the ritual. And yeah, here we go. And let me tell you, the mood lighting was lighting. It was a nice color. And the seat, the pod, very private, and it just looks so modern, so new, so clean, so sleek. Just like with the A350, there's the Delta widget. And I'm not trying to compare, I'm not one for comparisons, but dare I say the A330-NEO Delta One cabin is nicer than A350s? Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. And I must say the amenity kit, it was, pretty standard, but the box itself, pretty nice. Still use it to this day. And so I recorded the pre-flight safety video, so here we go.
Delta has always put people and safety first. We are honored that you're with us today as we celebrate our centennial, and we look forward to serving you for another 100 years. Now sit back, relax, and please pay attention to this important safety presentation.
Welcome aboard, and thank you for choosing Delta for 100 years and counting.
Delta Airlines. The health and safety of our customers and crew is our #1 priority and the shared responsibility of everyone on board. So, before we depart, please pay attention to this important message. Stow all carry-on items in an overhead bin and place smaller items completely under the seat in front of you.
Larger electronic devices must be placed in a bag. Handheld portable electronic devices, including mobile phones, should also be secured.
Keep the aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas clear. If you lose an electronic device in your seat, please do not adjust your seat and ask a crew member for help.
As we leave the gate, fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle and adjusting the strap so it's low and tight across your lap. To release, lift the top of the buckle. If your seat has a shoulder harness, attach the metal tip to the fitting on the belt. To release, push the metal tip down. Stay seated with your seatbelt fastened when the seatbelt sign is on, and keep it fastened whenever you're seated in case of sudden rough air. In the event of rough air, the crew might also need to buckle up for safety. We appreciate your understanding if our service is interrupted.
Federal regulations require all passengers to comply with all crew members' instructions, along with the posted placards and lighted information signs throughout the cabin. Smoking, vaping, the use of e-cigarettes or any smokeless product, including chewing tobacco, is not allowed on any Delta flight. Federal law prohibits tampering with, disabling, or destroying restroom smoke detectors.
There are 8 exits on this plane, 8 doors, 4 on each side. 6 doors have detachable slides that can be used as rafts. The 2 smaller doors behind the wings have detachable slides that can be used for flotation. In the event of an evacuation, leave all bags behind. Carry-in baggage will slow the evacuation. All exits are clearly marked with the green exit symbol. Locate the nearest exits and remember, they might be behind you. If we lose power, lights will illuminate the aisles to guide you to an exit.
It's unlikely, but if cabin pressure changes, oxygen masks will drop from the panels above your seat and inside the lavatories. Reach up and pull a mask or streamer down to start the flow of oxygen. Remove any face covering and place the mask over your nose and mouth. Slip the elastic strap over your head and adjust the mask if necessary. Breathe normally and note that oxygen is flowing, so don't worry if the bag doesn't inflate. Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
A water evacuation is also unlikely, but just in case. Life vests are in a compartment beneath or adjacent to your seat. To use, remove the vest from its container by pulling on the tab and then opening the pouch. Slip the vest over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist, attach it to the buckle in front, and adjust securely around your waist. As you leave the plane, inflate the vest by pulling down on the red tab at the bottom, or manually inflate it by blowing into the tube at shoulder level. A water-activated light is attached to each vest. For children under 35 pounds, place the vest around their waist and secure the strap between the legs. See your safety card for more information. Additional life vests for in-lap children are in marked compartments at the front and rear of the plane. We'll distribute these vests if necessary.
Before takeoff, bring your seat to its upright position and stow your tray table, leg rest, and footrest. Be sure you fastened your seatbelt low and tight across your lap, carry-on items secured, and armrests are at resting position, or as otherwise indicated on the placard in front of you. If you have a suite door, ensure it's open. See placard instructions inside the suite door for opening instructions in case of emergency. Finally, take a moment to review the safety information card in your seat pocket.
As we finish our safety check, Please let us know if you have any questions.
As we take off into the future, sit back and relax. And from all of our crew, thank you for flying with Delta, today and for the next 100 years.
So yeah, about that departure. We were supposed to depart from Terminal 3, Delta's terminal, right? So, usually it'll be a simple old taxi over to runway 24 left. But since it was before 6:30, LAX was still using its noise abatement rules, which specify that aircraft should arrive over the ocean. So usually, like this morning, the north 2 runways are used for arrivals, while the south are for departures. Meaning, we had to taxi all the way around the airport to the south. And I'm not complaining. Maybe I am a little bit. But it took an hour from pushback to departure. And I'm guessing the schedulers at Delta accounted for this because we were still on time, even though it took an hour to taxi. So if any of you are in the know about this process, please let me know, because I enjoy learning about this type of thing. So please enlighten me. So I always enjoy keeping the takeoff in the video because frankly, that's my favorite part of the flight. So if you would like to skip ahead of this, I have timestamps in the description, and also you should be able to just skip ahead. And so for those of you that's going to stick around, a little bit more information about the aircraft. It is a Delta A330-900NEO, standing for New Engine Option, and it was delivered to Delta in May of 2023. Registration November 422 Delta Zulu. And so what is the new engine option, you ask? Well, Delta's A330-300s and 200s are powered by General Electric CF6 engines, which are basically less fuel efficient than the newer Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engines that are on the A330neo. And so the Neo is really just more fuel efficient, it has more range, and it has more premium seats, and that's why these aircrafts are going to replace the 767-400 and A330-300 on Delta's international routes. And so I came into this trip a very strong A350 lover, but this really grew my appreciation for the A330, and I'm certainly looking forward to Delta taking on the A350-1000, but as of right now, I'm not sure which aircraft is my favorite. And so enough of my yapping, I'll catch you when we're in the air. And here are the seat controls. I don't really customize too much. My go-to is the lounge setting. And when we got to cruise altitude, the flight attendants came around with a warm towel and our pre-meal beverage and some warm nuts. I went for the apple juice. The IFE screen is huge, but to me, the best entertainment is right outside the window. And soon I received my breakfast. I went for the French toast and a scone and some allegedly fresh fruit. This meal, I must say, was pretty disappointing. The French toast was pretty hard and the fruit wasn't its freshest. And here's the restroom. Can't really complain. It's an airplane bathroom. And for me, this is my go-to IFE screen, the flight map. I just like to know where I am in real time. And yep, there I go again, looking out the window. And so I'm not even joking. After what felt like maybe an hour and a half, it was already time to begin our initial descent into New York. And I mean, these transcontinental flights are deceptively short. Let me say that, especially when you're flying from the west to the east, since you have like a tailwind pushing you quicker. And so as we begin to turn final for JFK, let me just give my final thoughts. The Delta One lounge was very nice, and after this flight landed, I actually went to the JFK lounge, which in my opinion is nicer. It's bigger, but it was more crowded. But I mean, also it was the afternoon, so I wasn't there in the AM like I was at LAX. But the food on this flight was very disappointing. But I mean, that's usually breakfast on aircraft is usually a letdown. But the product itself, the aircraft, immaculate, is nice. The suite, extremely private. The mood lighting in the aircraft, even that was great. So I mean, and the cabin crew was very friendly. They were attentive. If I needed anything, they were there. And so I must say, Delta really provided a great experience yet again. And so after we arrived at our gate, I went over to the Delta One lounge. I didn't get any videos in there because I wasn't expecting to include it in the video, but I must say it's very nice. And so after that, I hopped up on the 767 and took off back to Atlanta. And just like that, another trip comes to an end. And if you enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe, and touch down on that notification button. Clear skies and smooth landings ahead. I'm hoping to see you in the next one.